The Brew World Order is an official program of the Brewtubers Online Brewers Club Network, featuring the latest news, updates, and interviews from the Brewtubers community. So sit back, relax, and crack open that freshly made home brew and join us as we get to know the Brewtubers from your favorite online brewers club. And now your host, Leo J. Bailey.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 8 of the Brew World Order, an official program of the Brewtubers Online Brewers Club. Check us out at www.brewtubers.com. Check out our Instagram, Twitter, MeWe, Facebook. Check out the website. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're on the YouTube channel. And, hey, things are going pretty good. Episode 8 tonight. Coming up shortly is going to be my interview with Mr. Alex from Rock On Beer, our only international member, who's a regular guy. He's got a great channel. We'll talk to him about that and how he got me through a big part of the quarantine. We'll chat with him a little bit. Brew World Order news as far as the club. We just had our meeting. Things went fairly well, I think. As far as members and such, we've gained quite a few in just about all realms, not only Instagram followers, but Twitter, MeWe. I think that we've got some new paying members and things happening on the Discord channel. If you have not checked that out as well, please do. We are getting started on the Belgian Dubel. I think there's a bunch of videos starting to roll out on that. I think Gary did one of the first. I'm not sure if not, but we're starting to get rolling with that, see how that finishes up. And yeah, things are kicking along pretty good. I'm going to keep this intro relatively short and to the point. Please do not forget that we are looking for a new host of this program. Hoping to step side December. And maybe we can get somebody. If you think that you can do a much better, glossier, more professional version of this show, please step up. If you're a member of Brewtubers, we'd love to have you pick this up and take it, run with this ball, as they say in the sports world. I don't know. Yeah, we'd love to have somebody pick this up and run with it a little bit better than I am doing. This is always just going to be a relatively simple kind of program, and I'm sure somebody could pick this up and make a much better thing with it. But coming up next, we definitely have Alex. We'll chat with him for a little bit and get to do our little introductory thing with him. And stay tuned. We'll see you next. The Brew World Order would like to thank the sponsors of the Brewtubers Online Brewers Club, such as Imperial Yeast, 5-Star Chemicals, Beer and Wine Hobby, and Brewing America. Please welcome our newest friends from Yakima Valley Hops. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 8 of the Brew World Order. And as you can see on your screen, our international member, Mr. Alex Rock from Rock On Beer YouTube channel. Welcome, Alex. Thank you for being a part of this, dude. I greatly appreciate it. And you were nominated by Mr. Nate.
Oh, that's really nice of him. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is awesome. I actually think this is a really awesome idea to have this podcast.
It's a nice, great way to, and as far as Brewtubers are concerned, and get to know the members of the club in an introductory way. I would like to see the Brewtubers YouTube channel maybe started something more in depth, somebody that hosted another program that was much more, because I've seen hour-long shows and 30-minute shows. I tend to feel that 30 minutes is about maxed out for what most people can handle as far as watching in any given episode of time. But we're talking about you. You are an American who has left the States and now lives in Europe. If I remember correctly, you are from Michigan?
Yep. I am from Michigan, from Eastern Michigan.
And you now live where?
I live in Denmark. I've lived here since 2009. So 12, going on 13 years now.
What got you to leave out the States to head over there?
Oh, the classic boy meets girl situation.
Oh no.
I'm actually married to a Danish woman. We met in Michigan. We actually met. She was the exchange student, so in high school.
Oh no! And you're the one that got exchanged.
Yeah, I'm the one that ended up getting exchanged. But yeah, we
terrible.
It's perfect story. We kept in touch, and I came over here for school for a year when I was in college.
Okay.
And and we ended up getting married soon after, and then I moved here and just never left.
Dude, that's awesome. So I would imagine you have to now. When we're talking beer and we're talking brewing, I'm gonna have to imagine you started brewing when you were still in the States.
No, that's actually the interesting part. So,
really,
when I lived in Michigan, I lived over in Grand Rapids, which is on the west side of Michigan, which is like just beer central,
right?
Founders was like the local place we went to hang out, after school. And I had friends who brewed, and I had brewed a little bit with them in Michigan, but there was just so much beer, and I lived in a teeny tiny apartment, so I just didn't have the space for it, and so I never got into it. It was actually when I moved to Denmark, and basically when I moved in 2009, the beer scene was just flatlines here.
Really?
Craft beer was infancy here. There wasn't, Belgian beer. That's what they considered craft beer.
Right.
There wasn't any IPAs. There wasn't anything I was used to drinking. I was used to drinking Two Hearted, just, every single day and stuff like that, imperial stouts. So I couldn't find any beer that I wanted to drink. There was only this gentleman here, which is the Danish macro beer.
Really?
So yeah, I started brewing just kind of out of desperation to get some hops.
Right. Man, that is freaking awesome. So you became a brewer while you were in Denmark.
Yeah.
And for some odd reason, I had that impression that you had been brewing since your Michigan days. I first got turned on to you on YouTube. I think a lot of us did in quarantine. We started watching a ton of videos by other people. And your whole series, Staying Sane in the Quarintane, that's what got me. I think I'd seen that you were a Brewtuber. I think I followed or liked, and then you started that series. And it's the God's honest truth, man. You were reviewing and drinking beers. One, I've never heard of any of them, and how you were getting them and where you were getting them from Europe. I found all of that fascinating as hell.
Yeah, it's funny. I go through these long periods where I'll go through these spurts of making videos, and then I'll stop for a long time, and just because, and I'm kind of in one of those right now where got a lot going on. We've got a lot of projects in the house, doing a lot of renovations. I'm back to work full time at the office now. Denmark has now officially called COVID off. We're done with it now. So
good luck with that.
Cautiously optimistic.
I'm
I'm back in the office now, but when the quarantine started, we got like, it was like day to day for us, where it was all of a sudden we were in the middle of a work day and they were like, get out.
Right.
Just get out.
That's crazy.
And then, everything was going on, and I started reading a lot of the small breweries here in Denmark. The scene has exploded here, and there are a lot of, it's like, it's like the growth is like 10, 15 years ago in the US. That's kind of how it is now. They're just popping up on every corner. And a lot of the ones that the guys I knew who were opening breweries and small breweries, they were saying that, we're done, we're screwed, right? Because because now everything's closed. So everybody opened a web shop up, and you could get any beer you wanted, and just order it online and get it shipped to your door. And to help them out, I started just ordering all this beer from all these little breweries, and
Right.
and I thought, well, hell, I might as well pop the camera on and try and get a little, because I was bored too. You couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. So I started that Stay Insane thing where I would just crack one of those beers I had bought open and just talk to the camera, because I was so, bored for talking beer. I couldn't go to the bar with the guys. Yeah.
It entertained the hell out of me, man. I absolutely loved it. And speaking of beer, before we get too lost on time, I will, of course, I don't even know if you can get these over your way anymore, but
is that Boston Lager?
That is Boston Lager.
We can. It's I can get a Boston Lager right up around the corner.
No kidding. That's awesome.
It's weird. Boston Lager and Brooklyn Lager.
Okay.
Brooklyn Brewing. They've got a big presence here. I don't know why.
Really? Oh, that's awesome. So what are you drinking? I saw before the camera started rolling, people, Alex started pouring this beer into a glass that, given his now European status, I would almost think that he was living not in Denmark, because it looked like he was pouring pure blood into a glass. What in the world is that?
So I wish I had a home brew, but as I said, I haven't brewed much lately. So I was kind of scrounging around for a beer to drink on air, and I pulled this guy out of the fridge. This is a Cherry O sour cherry candy Bragget.
Oh wow!
Right?
That sounds fascinating.
So it is. It's made with honey and sour cherry juice. It looks like that's all, but yeah, I love really weird beers.
Well, hold that thing up to the camera, because I don't think, or the glass. Do you have the glass? Do you have it poured into a glass, or is
yeah. No, I got her in a glass here.
That thing is ridiculous.
It tastes like cherry. It tastes like cherry juice and honey. Like if you just took some straight cherry juice and put a few spoonfuls of honey in it.
I'm hoping to one day be brave enough to brew a Bragget. I had Samuel, speaking of Boston Beer Company, they made a Bragget years back. I found a bomber. I can't remember what they called it, but it was absolutely amazing. And it's the only Bragget I've ever had. And that is a style that I may get brave enough to try to get on one day. You were saying I don't have any home brew right now myself either. I've got two things that I just kegged earlier today. Of course, our time difference, you're already getting into the evening. It is like 2:15 in the afternoon here where I am, and you're into the late well, not late evening, but you're getting into the evening.
Yeah, I'm getting up there. I'm 6 hours ahead of you.
Right. So I've got that. I've got an IPA that I did Friday on my new rig, and that's it. I don't have anything in the refrigerator except for some commercial stuff, which, I'll take it. You gonna brew anything anytime soon? Because there's a couple of things about Alex's channel. If you follow him, not only was he doing some great content with the quarantine, but you also started doing some relatively recent stuff where you've been redoing the brewery and your bar and some stuff there. How's that coming along? Yeah,
that's so my wife and I we bought this house. We used to live down in the city. And I did for a while. I was an apartment brewing channel where I was doing the how to apartment brew a little bit. But we bought a house. We bought a 175-year-old farmhouse out in the countryside. So
wow,
about 3 years ago. So there's absolutely no shortage of projects.
I would imagine that would be some of the things you were talking about. If you go back and look at some of your videos, you had some situation, I think, with some drainage at one point.
Yeah, we recently got the drain I got some guys to finally come out and put a drain in. So one of the benefits of buying this house is it had an outbuilding full, some kind of old barn, must have been back in the days. It has a hayloft up in the top, and I've been changing it into my brewery bar, but it didn't have water or drainage, just had power.
Right.
So yeah, so I've been slowly building it up into a bar brewery, and I just recently got the drain put in, and the guys who did it, they actually came in to me and they were cutting down to attach it to the sewer, and they actually came in and they said, "Oh, hey, your sewers have collapsed."
Oh no. Well, you're dealing with a 175-year-old house with 175-year-old problems.
Yep. There's never anything easy here. We've everything takes a lot longer just because it's old stuff. So
I gotcha. All right, folks. Well, look, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to jump into one of our sponsor commercials. I have no idea which one. You'll find out kind of like I will in a couple seconds. When we come back, we're going to do segment 2, wrap things up with Alex and see what he's getting ready to get into here shortly. And we'll see you on the side. Imperial Yeast was founded on the ideal that if you are going to do something, do it right. Through many years of experience in liquid yeast and craft brewing, they understand that home brewers and pros alike need access to better yeast, service, and support. Their staff has decades invested in liquid yeast and professional brewing, alongside countless afternoons and evenings spent home brewing. Imperial Yeast. Pitch right. Welcome back, people. We are back with Mr. Alex Rock from Denmark, formerly of the Michigan, United States. And, you know, we've had a chance to talk about some of the stuff on his YouTube channel, his quarantine, and some of the upgrades to his stuff. And the thing that gets me is Alex says that he's not brewed much lately. So what do you have? You got to have something coming. Although I get it, we're busy. I just brewed a couple of things and I finally got a new rig, you know, as far as my brewing equipment. What is your brew rig now? And currently, do you have any plans on upgrading? Yeah.
So I was one of the OG Grainfather guys. I bought I bought the Grainfather, I think a few months after it actually released in Europe. I'm not even sure if it was released in the US yet. So I've got a Grainfather. I've got the OG original, no Bluetooth, you know, gotcha. No, and that's been my rig for 5 years now. Before that, I was propane and cooler. Yep. Just like just about everybody else. Yep. But then, yeah, like I said, I used to brew with a bunch of guys. They had a place that we brewed in, and then I couldn't brew there anymore. I had to move the brewing into my apartment, so I bought the Grainfather. And for the most part, I've really enjoyed all-in-one electric brewing.
That's what I just went to.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just no muss, no fuss. It's. I think it's the best. I love the guys that, you know, the guys out there, Wally and those guys that got the Mike Dean, the three vessel,
Gary,
super shiny Gary. Yeah, exactly.
Out, Matt from Wreck Brewing.
Yeah, Wrecked. Yeah, Matt's is insane.
Just nuts.
Those guys with their just stainless steel, you know, just these monuments of stainless steel. I love that stuff, but that if I ever got like more serious, I think what I'm trying to work towards now is I just want to get back into the rhythm of brewing.
Right.
For a while I got really wrapped up in every brew has to have some kind of I kind of got too much into the videos, really, as every brew has to have some kind of video attached to it. So there has to be some kind of an experiment or some kind of really cool idea or new hop or new yeast. Right. And I just want to get back in the day when I was just brewing beer that I wanted to drink.
Yep.
I feel like I got away from that where I was brewing Brut IPAs and needed to get every quake under the sun and that kind of stuff. And now I just want to move towards just back to the basics of
There seems
brewing.
to be a thing right now going on. I think everybody's going, this is no offense to anyone. I've never used it myself, but everybody's going absolutely stupid about, what is it, Kvike yeast? Holy crap, dude. And don't get me wrong. I get it. I think there's a huge allure and a reason for wanting, but it does kind of take you out of your rhythm of what, your brew days are, how long your fermentation process is.
Yep.
And I don't know, man, it's I shouldn't say that it's a fad, but in a way it kind of is. I'm sure it'll settle down eventually.
Yeah, I think that it'll become just like anything else, where it'll become more routine,
Right.
I mean, it was barely what 2-3 years ago where you had to, smuggle that dried powder in a baggie down your pants from Norway to get a hold of the stuff. And, now you can get it, dried from Lallemand for, $2 a set. I don't know how much it costs.
Right. I got you.
Costs something like $5-6 over here to buy the dried ones. But so now I think it's just going to become more like a routine thing.
Yeah.
Because before the fake, it was all the Bretts that people were trading those around. You'd find a dusty old Belgian bottle in Grandpa's cellar, and you'd run a Q-tip in there, and you'd get some crazy new Brett strain. But
oh my god, that's incredible! That's probably a little bit before my time as far as brewing, because I've heard people talk about that, but I've never seen or heard nor talked to anybody that's actually done it.
I've seen the trends come and go.
They're funny, man. They truly are. I've been trying to keep the stuff basic. I just, like I said, the last 3 beers that I've brewed are all 3 beers that I have brewed before, except for the Blackberry Wit. Now, my Blackberry Wit, I did for the first time. I've done a blackberry puree, and it just kegged. And I think it turned out pretty good. But my honey kolsch I've done numerous times. This IPA that I have fermenting, I've done numerous times. So I'm a lot like you. I like sticking to the stuff that I know, and then eventually I'll jump into something that I haven't done.
I think that my main focus in the rest of this year is what I want to get back to. I got 3-4 solid recipes that I've brewed a bunch of times, and those I just want to refine those down to talking about Nate, I want to refine those down to the Dropkick Nate level of a reproducible recipe that's just that solid. And then maybe like every once in a while, because you got to scratch that itch, right? Just maybe one beer once in a while, I'll do something nuts. I'll do a sour cherry Bragget or something.
Yes, exactly. And that's like I was saying earlier, I'd like to get brave enough to be able to do a Bragget one day, but I got to study up on it and do some stuff. Now, speaking about some basics, I see the hat. You got the Bell's Two Hearted. I absolutely love that freaking beer, man.
That's my go-to beer. It's number one with a bullet.
Is it?
Yep, Desert Islands. I've got some. It's probably the beer I've tried to clone or rebrew the most. I've got a pretty decent recipe for it that I make.
Oh, okay. Have you ever tried the Northern Brewer Dead Ringer that is supposed to be a clone?
I tried to brew the recipe. I've never tried it because obviously you can't get Northern Brewer over here. But I got hold of the sheet for it, the content sheet.
Really?
I actually want to say that was maybe my 3rd ever homebrew.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? That was probably my first all grain brew. I got hold of the Dead Ringer. Awesome. That was probably in like 2012. I think I got hold of the PDF instructions for Dead Ringer and tried to brew it. I brew some kind of Two Hearted beer maybe at least twice a year, if not more.
So that is definitely a favorite of yours at this point.
I love Bell's. My brother lives over by them, so whenever I'm back, I try and get over there. I've got friends who work for them.
Oh, no kidding!
I've met actually one of my absolute favorite stories. I went to a beer festival here, and Bell's happened to be in. Was a beer festival in Copenhagen, and Bell's happened to be there. And Larry Bell's daughter, her name escapes me off the top of my head, but she was actually pouring beers at the booth, and I came up and I asked for whatever beer I asked for, and I said, "Hey, I'm from Michigan. I absolutely love your beer. I've been drinking it since before I was technically allowed to be drinking it." And I said, "Yeah, I love Two Hearted, so it's amazing to see you guys here. It really blows me away to see you guys." And she was super grateful and that. And then she goes, "You know what? Hang on one second." And then she goes into her bag behind there, and she pulls out a can of Two Hearted that she said she grabbed off the canning line before she went to the airport. And she goes, "Here, have this."
Oh, that is awesome, dude.
So that's I should have had her sign it.
Yeah, I would about to say that's something that still deserves to be up on a shelf somewhere.
It's actually in the brewery. It's in the can of it's in the brewery. So
that's pretty cool, dude.
But yeah, I love Bell's. They're my number one.
Yep. And everybody talks about their desert beer. We were having that discussion during the meeting the other night, and I got picked on because mine is Boston Lager. I don't drink it that often anymore. I love my IPAs. I absolutely adore it, and I drink a ton of them, and from a lot of different people. But every now and then, man, I gotta grab a 6-pack, and every time I do, I remember just how much I love this beer. And I was one of the originals when they first started marketing these back in '86 or whatever in restaurants. I drank, and I've been hooked ever since. And that was my introduction to what craft beer.
Right.
So that was a big game changer. And I had Bell's. I'd say for the first time I had Bell's maybe closer to 3 years ago. I went to the Outer Banks, and they had it at a restaurant, and I drank it and went, "Holy crap, this is really, really good." So hell of a choice for a desert island beer, dude.
It was, and that's the thing with desert island beers, right? I mean, it's, you can't give a shit about that. It's the whole purpose of a desert island beer is not to have that one that blows your mind, or it's the one that you want to drink 10 of,
Right.
It's the one you keep going back to.
Yes. Now there is one, if Stone Brewing would ever brew it again, that might change my mind. They had an IPA a few years back called the Citricado, and it was avocado blossoms, citra hopped out and of course the proprietary Stone yeast, whatever the hell that mystery is. But yeah, that's a beer that probably is my favorite of theirs that I've ever had, and they don't make it anymore. They did it one summer, so that might change my mind if they ever made it commercial. One final question for you, sir, before I let you go to your evening is, if you know anything about this show, it is up to you, sir, to pick who my next interview is. All they have to be is a member of Brewtubers.
All right. Well, right off the top of my head, has Wally been on yet?
Wally has been on. Wally was,
crap.
I think, my second. Can't remember anymore. He was early on.
I tried to scroll through the list and see but I must have missed his.
I've not done many. I did 2 with Nate. He's the only one that we've done a 2-parter. I've had Wally, I've had Dave Phelps, and I've had Dennis Penn.
Now I gotta check who's in the club anymore.
And Matt. I had Matt from Rec.
Yeah, his I started watching his too. Oh crap! Wow, now I'm on the.
Yep. Now I put you on the spot. You got.
Now I'm on the spot. I thought I knew you were gonna ask me, and I thought I hadn't seen the. I hadn't seen the. Oh, you should do MASH. Mash Paddle. Yeah.
Ooh, I've not seen him on lately. But
Yeah,
I will
he's
definitely reach out. He's local
sort
to
of
me.
is he really?
Yeah, he doesn't live but 20 minutes away from me.
He's one of those guys that I used to be, or well, it still exists. There's a Facebook group chat, and he's one of those guys that used to talk with in there. And yeah, he doesn't make videos anymore, does he?
He's definitely said he had slowed down. I know law enforcement keeps him very busy. Yeah. But I will absolutely reach out. I think he'd be a great dude to talk to. I haven't seen him for a bit pop on anywhere, but I will definitely try to set something up with him.
Shoot,
I gotta schedule him. Yeah, I'll schedule him for October.
Awesome. I gotta keep up on the Brewtubers channel a bit more now. I gotta keep my eye on it.
Yeah. It might
totally blanked when you asked. I totally blanked.
Well, brother, thank you so much for being a part of this. I greatly appreciate it. And, not to take any more time away from your evening over in your new home of Denmark.
No, this was great. This was absolutely
and you
really,
you make
really
my
great.
First international.
All right.
So
great.
Absolutely, dude. Technology is a beautiful thing, man, because I haven't seen the Zoom glitch once.
Nope.
It seems to have gone fairly well, so I'll take it.
This is just an amazing time that now everybody's kind of used to it, and they've got it's when you ask people to, hey, you want to do a podcast or a meeting or something, and everybody's like, yeah, sure, I've done that before. So
yep, let's do it. We've all got used to it. So
yeah, I got my computer right here. We've been doing it for almost 2 years now. So
yeah,
I think it really opens up a lot of cool stuff like this.
Yeah, it does. So. And the technology just keeps getting better. So
yeah,
Alex, cheers, sir.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks so much for having me on. This was awesome.
Amen. I appreciate it, brother. Be good. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next month. And if all goes well, we'll see Mr. Mash Paddle here on the screen for you. So until next time, people, rock and roll.